Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Fred Oz here, and I'll be talking today about promulgating the law of Thelema, about its importance, about some of the methods that can be employed. First of all, I'd like to say that using the works of Aleister Crowley, reading his works here on YouTube, has been a very effective tool for me in promulgating the law of Thelema. Since I started this work 2 years ago, I've had pretty much a constant stream of people emailing me about Thelema, wanting to learn more, wanting to contact the O.T.O. You know, I pretty much get a constant stream of these emails, so it is effective. Trying to tell me that it's not effective and that that promulgating doesn't happen by reading Crowley is an exercise in futility, because I know from direct experience that it is effective. I'd also like to say that using Crowley's letters or things that Crowley wrote to try to show that he did not want us to do this work is also an exercise in futility. It is very clear from Crowley's writings that he did want us to promulgate the law of Thelema, and that he did want us to use his writings to do so. Now, there are undoubtedly other methods, and you know, if my method doesn't work for you, that's fine. Use your own method. I would never expect you to try to emulate me anyway. But things like the Message of the Master Therion, Stepping Out of the Old Eon into the New, these are writings that Crowley made specifically for the O.T.O. to distribute to the masses. And so, you know, there's no possible way you can say that he didn't want us to do that. I mean, he made the writings for that and specifically said in many places that this is what we're supposed to be doing. Especially if you're an O.T.O. member. The O.T.O.'s primary mission is to promulgate the law of Thelema. This was stated by Crowley. It has been reiterated by the Grand Master Sabazius. And so we know that this is the mission of O.T.O. But even if you're not an O.T.O. member, Crowley believed that it was an integral part of all of our wills to promulgate the law, because the best way for us to accomplish our wills is if the other people around us are governing themselves in accordance with the law of Thelema. So therefore, one of the best ways for you to be able to accomplish your will is to help other people to come to the realization of their own freedom and liberty through the law of Thelema. Now, I want to point you to my little island, the site that I have called The Island. I'll put a link in the sidebar. I have fortified it, and I am working on dunging about with Enginery of War. There are several pamphlets and whatnot you can download there that you can pass around. You don't necessarily have to do anything, but you know, I would encourage you to at least print 10 of them out and just put them out on your daily wanderings. I mean, you don't have to stand on a street corner and hand them out to people. You could just slip one into a restaurant menu, or leave one on the table at a restaurant or in the library, or just, you know, little things that nobody would ever even know that you put them there can make an impact. I mean, think about it. There's, what, you know, thousands of Thelemites. If each of us handed out, if each of us laid 10 pamphlets, just 10 pamphlets around, you know, that is tens of thousands of pamphlets that have been distributed. You know, it's not to convert people. It's not about converting people. It's about making people aware that Thelema exists, because face it, they're not aware. For the most part, people have never heard of Aleister Crowley or Thelema, and if they have heard of Aleister Crowley, it's from the Ozzy Osbourne song. You know, they don't have any kind of an understanding of what he was about. But anyway, you know, I've got a couple little examples. I've made this little card that is for our oasis here, that, you know, I've placed around in some places. I've got here's one of the pamphlets that's on the island. It contains the Message of the Master Therion, a writing that was specifically designed for this purpose. This one contains contact info for my local body. And it's also got some frequently asked questions about the O.T.O and stuff. You can customize it to your own use. You don't have to put anything about O.T.O on it if you're not a member or you're an anti-O.T.O person. But the important thing is that you think about doing some of the work of promulgating. You don't have to do it like I do it. You don't have to do it like anyone does it. Find your own strategies and work towards your own understanding of what promulgating the law is. But do the work a little bit, just a little. I hate to make the distinction between active and passive promulgation because it has spurred some debate lately, which is a good thing in a way, but I hate to see people fighting against promulgating the law of Thelema in just about any form, which is what I've been seeing as this debate has been going on between active and passive promulgation. And some people don't even like the distinction being made because they feel like you're denigrating people when you say that they are not actively promulgating the law. When in reality it's not. Everybody is not set up to actively promulgate, and there's nothing wrong with that. But those who are able to do it should think about that distinction, the distinction between sitting back and saying, well, I prefer to lead by example, or actually taking an active participatory role in promulgating the law of Thelema. Because as much as, like say for instance, if you wear a universal hexagram outside of your shirt, or wear an Aleister Crowley shirt or whatever, and you are setting a good example, then perhaps people can relate your example back to Thelema. But if you're just being a badass person, people are not going to equate that back to Thelema. So really there's no promulgation taking place in that case. Surely you can see what I mean. It's not a common practice for someone to say, well, you're a really badass person, what's your religion? It just doesn't work like that. People have to be able to associate you with Thelema and have an idea of what Thelema is, or even that it exists, before they will ever associate any kind of example that you make back to Thelema. And this is something that you hear a lot. Well, I prefer to lead by example. And not to necessarily try to call anybody out with this. It's kind of hard not to make it come off that way. But I mean, it feels to me like that's an excuse for not doing the work. If you're not gonna promulgate, then just be honest about it. I mean, don't try to make it like you're doing the work when you're not. I mean, perhaps your work doesn't involve that, and that's fine, but it's kind of misleading to others when you say things like that, because they think, well, that seems like a good way to think about it. I'm leading by example. When in reality, there's no real promulgation taking place. But visit the island, participate in the discussions, and talk about what's been effective for you, or take a little bit of an active role. Just do a little bit to promulgate the law of Thelema, and don't be so consumed, with what others are doing and their methods, and trying to say that they are wrong or that what they're doing is not effective. Try to develop your own strategies. That's what this is all about, is walking your own path and coming to your own understanding of these things. You will never catch me trying to tell you that my way is the right way or the only way, because it's not. I'm just a regular guy. I'm nobody's guru. I don't claim to be any big bishop or anybody's, that I know everything. I'm just a regular guy. And, a guy who thinks it's very important to promulgate the law, and thinks that it's important to try to motivate others to do this as well. So, just think about it. And thanks for watching. Love is the law. Love under will.